Even today, with so much awareness, patients and consumers don't apply sunscreen. But sunscreen is the most foundational step of any skincare routine and also is kind of the foundation of preventive anti-aging. Skincare routine should have three skincare basics, or as
Okay.
I like to call them, essentials. Okay. Well, that's something that you should ask our patients. We're not really living in the same world that existed about, say, 20 or 30 years back.
Back.
And all of these factors actually end up damaging your skin barrier and also accelerating aging. So the goal is to always create that kind of awareness so that when patients are not under our care as well, they do have some basic understanding and knowledge of what kind of ingredients or what kind of treatments really works for them. It's about understanding your entire journey, understanding how your skin works.
Welcome to Health Unplugged, a superstar, where we bring India's leading medical experts closer to you, simplifying health and empowering your daily health choices. I'm your host Deena from One Health Assist, a one-stop health solution for all your healthcare needs and integrated ecosystem in terms of health. Today we are focusing on a topic that grabs our attention, skincare. So between stress, pollution and screen exposure, what we really want to know is how to start with skincare. Joining us today is Dr. Natasha Shetty, MBBS, MSc Clinical Dermatology, a fellow in anti-aging and aesthetic medicine, aesthetic physician with 9 years of experience, founder of Skin Series and practicing between Mumbai and Dubai. Doctor, let's start with the basic. How do we start with a skincare routine?
Well, so let's keep it simple and break it down for everyone. So, a skincare routine should have three skincare basics, or as
Okay.
I like to call them, essentials. Okay. These three products are your cleanser, your moisturizer, and your sunscreen.
Okay.
Once you have these, then you can incorporate maybe a serum for the morning and one for the night. So, in the morning, what your skincare routine would look like would be to start with cleansing and then to go in with your antioxidant serum of your choice and follow it up with a good sunscreen. At night, again, you begin by cleansing your face, follow it up with an active ingredient of your choice, and then finally, you want to finish with a moisturizer.
Okay.
If you're just beginning and if you're just starting out, you've never been into skincare, then what you want to do is you want to start with just your three skincare basics that we just talked about. So, the goal for the first couple of months is primarily to get consistent with a routine and to have the discipline to do it, right? So, in the beginning, we tell everyone to not overcomplicate it, keep it as simple as possible. Less is more. Once you get used to having that kind of consistency with your routine, then you can slowly incorporate maybe one active at a time. And that's what your skincare routine would look like, and that's how it's built.
Okay. So for a beginner, initial 3 months is
Just three
just the
products, just focus on consistency, focus on getting used to the fact that every morning you have to apply
follow a
something
routine.
and
Yeah.
every night you have to apply something. Once you get used to that, everything else becomes a little more easier. Then you start incorporating or including one serum or one active at a time.
Okay. That's really nice to understand. As you just mentioned about the routine for skincare, I want to know why sunscreen is ignored. Is there a specific reason?
Well, that's something that you should ask our patients, because even today, with so much awareness, yes, you're absolutely right, patients and consumers don't apply sunscreen. But sunscreen is the most foundational step of any skincare routine and also is kind of the foundation of preventive anti aging. Because a
Okay.
lot of aging also happens just because of exposure to these UV rays,
Right.
right? And today we have so much screen time as well. So your blue light also comes into the
Correct.
picture, and to protect yourself even when you're indoors, because it's not just the sun now, is extremely important. Without that, everything else kind of becomes null and void because you're not really protecting yourself during the day.
So viewers, sunscreen is important for a daily routine. So doctor, when we are buying a sunscreen, what should we actually look at?
So, like I mentioned, we have UVA rays, we have UVB rays, and then we have blue light and all of
Correct.
that, right? So, you want to look at a sunscreen which actually is a broad spectrum sunscreen, which means that it's going to protect you from both UVA and UVB. And then we have a PA factor on the bottle where you want to check. PA is basically a protection against UVA rays.
Okay.
So, you want to check how many pluses are in front of that. So,
Correct.
PA at least 3 pluses or more, and SPF, which is your sun protection factor, which protects you against UVB rays, that should be a minimum of 30,
Thank you for clearing that point for us, doctor.
of course.
So, doctor, why skincare is so essential now compared to before?
That's actually a great question, Dina. So, skincare is extremely important today, or is more important today than it used to be back in the day, right? When our moms were growing up. Now, this is because the world that we live in today is completely different, right? We deal with a lot more stress, with a lot more pollution, a lot more screen time, and of course, foods that are ultra processed and GMO'd,
Correct.
which means that we're not really living in the same world that existed about say 20 or 30 years back,
Back.
and all of these factors actually end up damaging your skin barrier and also accelerating aging, which is why skincare today is become more important than it used to be back in the day, because it's about giving your skin what it needs in the world that we live in today.
So with so many products available and so much of information available on internet, do we really need to consult a doctor, or we can just buy the products?
So yes, you can obviously buy the products because it's OTC or over the counter.
Yeah.
Having said that, what happens is, number one, like you said, there are so many products and so many brands available. So to the end consumer, it can sometimes get a bit too overwhelming, where you
Okay.
don't know where to begin or what to buy, right? So you're going to end up buying based on either marketing or advertisement, and that
Right.
may not be the best way to do it. Now, why isn't it the best way to do it? Because everyone's skin does not respond and react the same way, right?
Correct.
Something that may suit me and that may work really well for me may not really work well for
Right.
you. So, what prescriptions and doctors help you do is basically they help you navigate your skincare journey,
Correct.
but it's also under medical supervision. So, we ensure that it's safe for you, it's effective for you, and in case you have any trouble, that's where our expertise comes into play, where we help you kind of navigate your journey just so
Okay.
that we can minimize trial and error for you and actually give you something that would work well for your skin.
Okay. So it's like a customized treatment
Absolutely.
for each consumer or a patient that
Of
you
course,
will
of
give.
course. So the goal is always to customize and personalize treatment while also making sure that it's safe and effective.
So even natural products can cause any issues?
Absolutely. So natural doesn't always mean safe and it doesn't always mean better.
Okay.
Even botanical or plant based ingredients can also cause sensitivity or irritation if it's not the right choice.
Okay. So you recommend that we should always first check and then
Yes.
use a particular product.
Yes, so I recommend starting under a doctor's supervision when you're actually going through your skincare journey. Get a better understanding of your skin, how it works, what kind of ingredients work well for you, and then you can slowly try and pick up some OTC products depending and based on that information.
Okay. So, as you just heard, skincare is a routine, but you cannot just follow it on your own. You should always consult a doctor and get a personalized and a customized treatment. So, you can get in touch with Dr. Natasha Shetty on a platform. So, let's talk about something that is trending nowadays, IV therapies.
Mhm.
So, what's behind the popularity of these therapies?
Well, so look, IV drips basically help deliver nutrients, antioxidants directly into the bloodstream, which
Okay,
means that they're actually bypassing your gut, right? So
correct.
when we take oral supplements, what happens is you're only getting about 30% of what you're taking
Okay,
because it needs to go through your gut. But IV, you get almost about 100% absorption of whatever nutrients that we add into it, correct?
okay.
Now, IV therapies also help boost energy. They help you with giving you a stronger immunity. They help with faster recovery. So you get multiple benefits much faster than
Fast.
you would with oral supplements. So that's why IV drips have now entered the wellness industry, where
Correct.
it's not just about sicknesses or hospital stays, but it's just about delivering nutrients and antioxidants faster to help your body and ultimately your skin as well.
So it's a faster way of getting all the supplements into the
Yes,
body.
correct.
So based on the discussion we just had, IV therapies are not a quick spa trend, right?
Not at all. They're definitely a medical grade treatment option, which is why it should be done under medical supervision
Correct.
with a doctor.
So doctor, actually, when do signs of aging actually start, and how do we start addressing those issues?
Well, early signs of aging can actually start from your late 20s because that's when we start to lose collagen every year, right?
Okay.
Now, these signs are usually fine lines. You will notice some kind of uneven skin tone, maybe some pigmentation, and also loss of elasticity. Now, while we do have treatments that we've been doing for decades, right? So you
Okay.
have your Botox, you have your
Right.
fillers. These are corrective treatments. And then we have something called as preventive treatments where we're trying to kind of bank and build your collagen naturally. So we have treatments like microneedling, PRP. These were treatments that have been happening for a while
Right.
now. But then we also have newer treatments, which are your skin boosters, which basically focus on hydration. You have collagen boosters, which basically focus on building natural collagen, stimulating your skin to build natural collagen. And then you have other treatments as well, which are like minimally invasive. Now, these are the treatments that actually help prevent those signs of aging
Correct.
before they appear. So we're working more preventively.
Okay, so preventive treatment actually helps here.
Yes, of course. So it depends on what age group you're in. So if you're in a younger age group, like you mentioned, early signs of aging. So here we're just trying to prevent accelerated aging, right? So
Correct.
we're looking at preventative treatment options. But if there's someone in their 50s or their 60s, then obviously a lot of damage has already been done, which means that we have to now correct all of that
Correct.
damage. So the sooner you begin, the lesser you need in terms of interventions, because
Okay.
that much damage hasn't happened. The later you begin, the more you may need.
Then it's more of a corrective treatment.
Correct.
Okay. So let's talk about hair fall now. Why does it happen so commonly nowadays?
Well, so there are a lot of factors, right? There's obviously climate change, there's a lot of pollution, there's a lot of stress, and then, of course, the commonest that we see is nutritional deficiencies just because of either poor diet
Okay.
or just our foods being ultra processed. So, even if you're eating well, sometimes it is a possibility that you're not really getting the nutrition that
That
you
are
need,
needed.
that your
Okay.
hair really needs to grow, right? So, those are a few reasons why hair fall is a lot more common today.
Okay.
Now, of course, we usually start with nutritional supplementation just to make sure that there's no deficiency. And then we have treatments, older treatments that we've been doing for so long, like PRP, GFC, where
Right.
we take your own blood and we deliver that plasma into the scalp,
Right.
which actually has a lot of growth factors and helps stimulate your dormant hair follicles.
Okay.
Okay. And also helps reduce hair fall, improves the strength of your follicles, increases thickness, all of that. And then we also have other meso solutions that we again inject back into the scalp. We have newer treatments like QR678, we have exosomes. All of these treatments actually help to reverse any damage, to control hair fall, and also to give you stronger, thicker hair.
So to start with basic, we need to eat the right food actually.
Absolutely. But also, like we already discussed, just because of foods being as processed as they are
Right.
today, even if you're eating right and if you're eating clean, it is a possibility that you still aren't really getting the nutrition that you should.
Needed for
Yeah.
it. So what inspired you to become an aesthetic doctor?
That's an interesting question. So, of course, I started with medical school, and when I finished medical school, I found out about the aesthetic industry, which is also relatively new to our
Right.
country today, right? There was so much lack of awareness, a lot that people didn't know existed. So, in order to just fill that gap, to be able to create a space, so when I actually founded Skin Series, it was found on one very simple idea, right? To be able to create a space that feels more personal, a space where skincare feels more ethical and more mindful, basically.
Correct.
So, when we also consult our patients in the clinic, my goal is always to make sure that we're creating that kind of awareness for our patients, right?
Okay.
Like I said, while you're under our care, it's important that you understand your skin better
Better.
along with us. It's not about just coming in and getting a treatment and leaving the clinic. It's about understanding your entire journey, understanding how your skin works, what really helps your skin, what are the things that don't really work well for your skin, because like I said, everyone reacts and responds differently. So the goal is to always create that kind of awareness so that when patients are not under our care as well, they do have some basic understanding and knowledge of what kind of ingredients or what kind of treatments really works for them. And based on that, then they're allowed to do a little bit of trial and error with OTC products, or
Okay.
say things that they want to pick. But if there's that lack of awareness, once you're out of the clinic, you're still just as lost as you were when you began, right? Because
Right.
you don't really know what's next. You don't know how to maintain the results that you've probably gotten from your treatments or your
Correct.
products. So, this gap is something that I wanted to fill,
Right.
where today skincare has become so transactional. The entire industry has become extremely transactional,
Correct.
where it's just about coming in, getting some treatment, and getting out, and then, you're back to square one if you're not under that care continually. Now, this is something that I wanted to break. Just bring in that kind of awareness, just build a space that feels safe for people to be vulnerable and also talk about their stories and kind of be on that journey along with us, because it is
Okay.
their journey at the end.
So it's a personalized journey for your patients as well.
Always,
That's
always.
really great.
Yes.
So, Dr. Natasha, as you just mentioned, that skin treatment requires a lot of appointment follow-ups and so on. So, how do you see platform like One Health Assist helping you on this journey?
Well, OHA actually helps our patients stay consistent by storing their prescriptions, their before after images, by sending out appointment reminders.
Right.
So it actually helps build consistency and continuity between in clinic care and also home care.
So, Dr. Natasha, thank you so much for your valuable insight. It really helped us understand skincare in a lot of details.
Of course, thank you so much for having me here. It was an absolute pleasure. And remember, skincare is just self care that's rooted in science.
So, beautifully said, Doctor. This has been Health Unplugged, a superstar. With One Health Assist, take charge of your wellness journey. Stay glowing, stay healthy, stay connected. Please like, share, and subscribe.